If a guy has a high sex drive, he will show these signs. Most women think a high sex drive shows up as dirty talk, constant flirting, or a man trying to get physical as fast as possible. Wrong. A man's sex drive shows up first in how his body handles desire before he has permission to act on it. Long before he says something sexual, his attention changes, his timing changes, his patience changes. His self-control starts revealing things his mouth hasn't said yet. When a guy has a high sex drive, he doesn't always become obvious. He becomes charged. His brain tries to stay normal, but his body keeps moving toward tension. If you're only looking for bold compliments, sexual jokes, or direct moves, you'll miss the real signs. Those are easy signals. The deeper signs are quieter, more physical, and harder to fake. What you're about to hear are not the basic signs of attraction. They're the signs that show when a man's desire is already active underneath the conversation, even if he's still trying to act composed. And the final sign matters most, because it reveals whether his desire disappears after satisfaction or whether it stays attached to you. 1. He finds reasons to create private tension. Does he seem to turn normal moments into something charged? A man with a high sex drive doesn't always begin with direct sexual comments. Often, he starts by creating privacy inside ordinary situations. He'll lower his voice when he talks to you. He'll stand slightly closer than necessary. He'll turn a casual conversation into something that feels like it has an undercurrent. Here's the thing. This is sexual tension management. When a man has a strong libido, his body often reacts before his words do. His eye contact lasts a second longer. His posture turns toward you. His attention narrows. He may look at your lips, your neck, your hands, or the way you move, then quickly return to your eyes like he's trying to control the signal. That doesn't mean he's automatically respectful or disrespectful. The difference is whether he reads your comfort. A high sex drive becomes attractive when it's paired with restraint. It becomes pressure when he keeps escalating after you've pulled back. Pay attention to that distinction, because desire is not the same thing as entitlement. 2. His flirting becomes physical very quickly. Have you noticed that he doesn't stay in harmless banter for long? A guy with a high sex drive usually moves from verbal flirting into physical flirting faster than other men. He may touch your arm when he laughs, guide you lightly through a doorway, sit close enough that your knees almost touch, or create small moments where contact feels natural. But here's what most people don't realize. Physical flirtation is often a test of mutual chemistry. He's watching whether you soften, lean in, smile, pause, or move away. In attraction psychology, these are called approach and withdrawal cues. They tell him whether the moment is mutual or one-sided. A man with strong sexual appetite will often be more alert to those cues because he's already thinking about escalation. The important part is not that he touches you. The important part is how he responds to your response. If you seem comfortable, he may keep building tension. If you create distance, a respectful man adjusts immediately. That's where you see the truth. High desire can be intense, but healthy desire still listens. 3. He talks about chemistry like it matters more than logic. Does he keep saying things like, "I just feel this pull with you," or "there's something about us"? A man with a high sex drive often experiences attraction as physical certainty before emotional certainty. He may not fully know you yet, but his body has already decided there's chemistry. Here's something that might surprise you. Sexual desire is strongly tied to anticipation. The dopamine system responds not only to pleasure, but to the expectation of pleasure. That means the buildup can become almost as powerful as the act itself. A man with a high sex drive may focus heavily on the spark, the tension, the look across the room, the private joke, the moment before anything actually happens. That can feel intoxicating. It can also feel confusing if you're looking for emotional depth and he's leading with physical intensity. Don't mistake chemistry for commitment. Chemistry tells you he wants you. Consistency tells you whether he values you. A high sex drive man may feel pulled toward you fast, but you still need to watch what he builds after the pull. 4. He notices sensual details. Ever had a guy comment on tiny things most men would miss? Your perfume, the way your dress moves, the softness of your voice, the way your hair falls when you look down. A man with a high sex drive often has a heightened awareness of sensual details because attraction is not abstract for him, it's sensory. Think about that for a second. He's not only noticing that you're attractive, he's taking in texture, movement, scent, tone, and proximity. Sexual attraction is deeply connected to sensory processing. Smell, in particular, can influence attraction through memory and emotional association. Touch, warmth, and voice tone can also become sexual triggers when someone is highly responsive to physical cues. So when he keeps noticing little sensual things, He may be revealing how strongly his body responds to you. But again, context matters. A tasteful compliment feels intimate. A constant stream of sexualized observations can feel like being watched instead of known. The difference is whether he makes you feel desired as a whole person or reduced to the parts that excite him. 5. He brings conversations back to intimacy. Does he somehow steer the topic towards sex, dating, attraction, fantasies, or what turns people on? A guy with a high sex drive often has intimacy on his mind more frequently, so conversations naturally drift there. He may ask what you're attracted to, what your love language is, whether chemistry matters to you, or how important sex is in a relationship. That's not automatically a bad sign. Sexual compatibility matters. Research into long-term relationships consistently shows that mismatched desire can create tension when couples can't talk about it honestly. A man with a high libido may be trying to understand early whether the two of you are aligned. He wants to know if you're affectionate, physically expressive, playful, open, reserved, or slower to warm up. But there's a clear line. If he brings up intimacy with curiosity and respect, he's assessing compatibility. If he turns every conversation sexual even after you redirect, he's prioritizing his appetite over your comfort. High sex drive does not excuse poor social awareness. The right man can talk about desire without making you feel cornered by it. 6. He struggles with long gaps in physical affection. Have you noticed he gets restless when there's no touch, kissing, cuddling, or sexual closeness for a while? A man with a high sex drive often experiences physical affection as a major form of connection. It's not just about release, it's about reassurance, closeness, and feeling wanted. Here's the deeper layer. For some men, sexual contact and emotional bonding are closely linked. Oxytocin and dopamine both play roles in intimacy, reward, and attachment. When a man strongly associates touch with connection, distance can feel bigger to him than it feels to you. He may become more affectionate after time apart, more eager to kiss, more physically playful, or more focused on being alone with you. That said, his restlessness is his responsibility. A high-drive man can desire you intensely and still respect your pace, your cycle, your stress, your tiredness, and your boundaries. If he sulks, guilt trips, or acts rejected every time you're not in the mood, that's not passion. That's emotional pressure dressed up as desire. 7. His body language changes when he's turned on. Does his energy shift around you in a way you can feel before he says anything? A man with a high sex drive often shows physical signs of arousal through body language. His breathing may slow or deepen. His voice may drop. His pupils may widen. He may become quieter, more focused, or more intensely present. That's not fantasy. That's physiology. The sympathetic nervous system is involved in arousal. Heart rate, blood flow, muscle tension, and attention all change when someone is sexually activated. He may hold eye contact differently. He may angle his hips toward you. He may touch his jaw, adjust his clothes, or seem suddenly more aware of his own body. Watch the pattern. If his body language changes only when things become sexual, that tells you his desire is reactive. If it changes simply from being close to you, he's probably highly responsive to attraction itself. But the most important sign is control. A mature man can feel desire without making it your problem to manage. 8. He is highly responsive to teasing. Ever notice that playful teasing affects him more than you expected? A guy with a high sex drive often reacts strongly to suggestion. A look, a private joke, a slow pause, a compliment, or a mildly provocative comment can light him up. He may smile differently, become more direct, move closer, or immediately turn the energy flirtatious. Here's the thing. High desire is often activated by anticipation. For some men, the chase, the tension, and the almost moment are powerful. He doesn't need explicit sexual conversation to become engaged. The suggestion is enough. The uncertainty is enough. The feeling that something could happen becomes part of the excitement. This is why a high-drive man may love playful back and forth. He enjoys the build-up. He enjoys feeling wanted. He enjoys the moment where both people know the conversation has shifted, even if nobody has named it yet. But teasing only works when both people enjoy it. If he pushes for more every time you're playful, he may not understand pacing. The best kind of sexual chemistry can rise and fall without turning into pressure every single time. 9. He wants frequent reassurance that you desire him too. Does he seem especially affected by whether you initiate, compliment him, touch him first, or show interest physically? A man with a high sex drive often doesn't only want sex. He wants to feel sexually wanted. Those are related, but they're not identical. Here's what most people miss. Desire can be tied to ego, attachment, and vulnerability at the same time. A man may have strong sexual appetite, but still feel insecure if he's always the one initiating. He may read your lack of initiation as lack of attraction, even when you're tired, distracted, stressed, or simply less physically forward. His libido makes him notice the gap more sharply. You'll see this in small ways. He lights up when you touch him first. He remembers sexual compliments. He responds strongly when you make him feel chosen. He may even ask questions that sound casual but are really about reassurance, like, "Do you like when I kiss you like that?" This can be sweet when it's honest. It becomes exhausting when he needs constant proof. Desire should create closeness, not a test you have to keep passing. 10. He gets impatient with slow escalation. Have you ever felt that he enjoys the buildup, but also wants it to move faster than you do? A high sex drive man may be patient in theory, but his body often wants momentum. Once the chemistry is there, he may start looking for the next step. More privacy, more kissing, more touching, more direct conversation, more time alone. That's not always manipulation. Sometimes it's simply appetite. Sexual motivation can create urgency because the brain is seeking completion of a reward cycle. The anticipation builds, the body responds, and the person starts wanting resolution. A man with a high libido may experience that cycle more often and more intensely than someone with a lower drive, but urgency reveals character. A respectful man can want more and still honor the pace you set. He may express desire clearly, but he doesn't punish you for slowing things down. He doesn't act confused by boundaries. He doesn't make consent feel like an obstacle. Pay attention to the difference between eagerness and pressure. Eagerness says, "I want you." Pressure says, "Your no is inconvenient to me." Only one of those is safe. 11. He is more affectionate after physical intimacy. Does he become warmer after sex instead of distant? This is one of the clearest signs that his high drive is connected to bonding, not just release. Some men pursue sex because they want the physical experience. Others pursue it because it's also how they feel emotionally close. Here's something worth noticing. What happens after intimacy often tells you more than what happens before it. After sex, the body can shift through oxytocin, prolactin, dopamine changes, and nervous system relaxation. A high-drive man who also feels emotionally connected may become softer afterward. He may want to cuddle, talk, kiss your forehead, stay close, or remain physically wrapped around you. This matters because sexual energy without tenderness can feel consuming. Sexual energy with tenderness can feel bonding. If he has a high sex drive and still treats you with warmth after the most intense moment has passed, that tells you his desire includes attachment. But if he becomes cold, distracted, or emotionally unavailable immediately after, then his drive may be more about conquest, novelty, or release than connection. The aftermath is information. Don't ignore it. 12. He thinks about timing and opportunity. Does he seem very aware of when the two of you can be alone? A man with a high sex drive often notices openings. He remembers when your roommate is out, when you both have a free evening, when the date could move somewhere more private, or when the mood is likely to become intimate. That doesn't mean he's plotting in a sinister way. It means desire makes opportunity stand out. Behavioral psychology calls this cue sensitivity. When someone wants something strongly, they become more alert to cues that make it possible. A hungry person notices restaurants. A tired person notices quiet rooms. A sexually charged man notices privacy, timing, closeness, and mood. This can feel exciting when you want the same thing. It can feel uncomfortable when you don't. So watch whether he treats opportunity as an invitation or an expectation. A good man can notice the chance for intimacy without assuming he's owed it. He can say, "I'd love to be alone with you," and still accept it gracefully if you say, "Not tonight." That grace is the difference between desire and pressure. 13. He is curious about what turns you on. Does he ask what you like instead of only showing you what he wants? This is one of the better signs of a high sex drive, because it means his desire is not just self-focused. He wants a sexual dynamic, not a one-person performance. Here's the thing. High libido without curiosity can become selfish. High libido with curiosity can become deeply attentive. A man who asks about your preferences, your pace, your turn-ons, your boundaries, and your comfort is showing sexual intelligence. He understands that arousal is not automatic just because attraction exists. He knows desire has context. Stress, trust, emotional safety, hormonal cycles, body confidence, and relationship dynamics all affect how open someone feels. That kind of man doesn't just want access to your body. He wants to understand your response. He pays attention to whether you relax, tense, laugh, go quiet, pull closer, or hesitate. He treats your pleasure as part of the experience, not a bonus. This is where high sex drive becomes attractive in a serious way. It's not just intensity. It's intensity guided by attention. 14. He has a hard time hiding desire, even when he tries. Have you ever caught him trying to act normal when he clearly isn't feeling normal? A man with a high sex drive may try to stay composed, but his desire still leaks through. He may become distracted, overly focused, unusually quiet, extra playful, or suddenly more protective of private space between you. Think about that for a second. The more he tries to control it, the more visible the contrast becomes. You'll see it in micro behaviors. He looks at you, looks away, then looks back. He pauses before answering. He moves closer, then catches himself. He compliments you in a restrained way, but the energy underneath the words feels stronger than the words themselves. This is often where women sense the truth before they can explain it. His body has a different conversation going on than his mouth, and when a man is both highly attracted and trying to be respectful, there can be a very specific tension. He wants to move forward, but he's also trying not to rush you. That tension can be sexy when it includes self-control. It becomes a warning sign when self-control disappears. 15. He still wants closeness after the sexual moment passes. What does it mean when his desire doesn't vanish after he gets what he wanted? This is the sign from the beginning, and it's the one most women should watch most closely. A high sex drive is easy to spot before sex. The real truth shows after. If he still wants to hold you, talk to you, kiss you slowly, check on you, laugh with you, or stay emotionally present, his desire has depth. It's not only hunger, it's connection. That's the difference. A man with a high sex drive wants sex often. A man with real attraction still sees you clearly when the sexual charge fades.